Stephen King's 2025 novel Never Flinch is a psychological thriller that blends suspense, moral conflict, and character-driven drama into a gripping, two-threaded narrative. At the center of it all is Holly Gibney, a private investigator known to King's readers from previous works like Mr. Mercedes, The Outsider, and Holly. In Never Flinch, Holly finds herself facing not just external danger, but her own inner demons, all while trying to stop two deadly threats unraveling in parallel. Plot overview. The story kicks off in Buckeye City, a fictional American town where police receive a terrifying letter. The anonymous writer, articulate, intelligent, and clearly dangerous, outlines his plan to kill 14 people, one per week. 13 will be innocent, and one will be guilty. Why? To avenge the execution of a man he believes was wrongly convicted by the state. The letter reads like a manifesto, a twisted form of vigilante justice. Enter Detective Ezra Gaines, who quickly realizes this case is too complex to solve alone. That's when he calls in Holly Gibney, whose intuition and unorthodox investigative methods have cracked impossible cases in the past. At the same time, across the country, feminist activist and best-selling author Kate McKay is in danger. She's on a national book tour, speaking out against religious oppression and advocating for women's rights, but not everyone is pleased. A radical religious extremist has begun stalking her, sending cryptic and threatening messages. The threat escalates, and Kate's team hires Holly to serve as a bodyguard and security consultant. At first, these two cases seem completely unrelated. One is about a methodical serial killer, the other about an ideologically driven stalker. But as Holly dives deeper, unsettling parallels begin to emerge. Both perpetrators are men convinced of their righteousness, both are driven by past trauma, and both view violence as the only path to justice. The heart of the story, Holly Gibney. Holly is the emotional core of Never Flinch. Readers have watched her grow across multiple novels, from a shy, obsessive young woman with anxiety and OCD to a confident, courageous investigator. In this book, she faces some of her greatest challenges yet. Still mourning the loss of her mother and mentor, and still navigating the world as someone deeply sensitive and intuitive, Holly must dig deep to protect lives, solve the mystery, and confront her own fears. Her encounters with both the killer and the extremist force her to confront questions about justice, forgiveness, and how far one should go to stop evil. And unlike many thrillers, Never Flinch doesn't offer easy answers, it offers hard truths. The antagonists. Stephen King's villains are never simple, and that's true here. The serial killer isn't a mindless monster, he's a former academic, emotionally scarred and philosophically driven, who believes his actions are not only justified but necessary. The stalker of Kate McKay is equally complex, a man whose religious beliefs have warped into extremism, who sees himself as a divine instrument. Both are terrifying because they believe they are right, and that makes them unpredictable, manipulative, and extremely dangerous. Themes. Justice versus revenge. What does it mean to do the right thing when the system fails? Fanaticism. How do people fall into the trap of extremism, and how does it spread? Trauma and healing. Every major character in Never Flinch is shaped by their past pain, and how they choose to deal with it. Moral ambiguity. King plays with the line between good and evil, often blurring it in subtle and powerful ways. Courage. As the title suggests, Never Flinch is about standing up in the face of fear, even when it's easier to run. Tone and style. King's prose in Never Flinch is sharp, direct, and fast-paced. The chapters alternate between storylines, building suspense with every switch. The psychological depth is rich, especially in Holly's inner monologues, and the action sequences are both realistic and chilling. Why this book stands out? Never Flinch is not just another thriller. It's a story about belief, in systems, in justice, in people, and what happens when those beliefs are tested to the limit. With his signature mix of horror, humanity, and suspense, Stephen King delivers one of his most emotionally layered novels to date. Whether you're a longtime fan of Holly Gibney or just diving into King's universe, Never Flinch is a powerful exploration of what it means to keep going, to face darkness without blinking, to never flinch.